Hi, and welcome to our monthly webinar. This time we're going to talk about conversion optimization and A/B testing. And more specifically, we're going to talk about how A/B testing can help you sell more with the same marketing budget. We're not going to do this alone. We're going to do this with the guys of Wingify, the creators of Visual Website Optimizer. So we're doing this every month. As I said, this month we're going to talk about conversion optimization. Next month, our topic will be social media, followed by loyalty and customer satisfaction in July. And in August, we're going to talk about marketing trends. Most of these webinars are in Dutch, actually. We're doing more and more in English. This one is one of the first ones. Actually, one of the many. We're doing more and more in English now. But you can check out our website, SEOshop.nl, and see all these webinars and immediately register for them. And hopefully we'll see you again in another of these months. So just to let you know a bit more about how we're going to do this today, you will see a panel on your right-hand side. And in this panel, you can ask your questions. There is a section actually called chat or questions, depending on your browser settings. And this is where you can ask your questions. Please don't wait until the end. We're going to answer all of them at the end, but we really like it if you're going to ask questions during our webinar. Also, we're recording this webinar, so tomorrow you can see it on our website. That's SEOshop.nl. And there is a tab called Resources, followed by Webinars. And if you want to communicate with us, you can do so by asking us questions, of course, but you can also use Twitter, hashtag SEOshop, because we're really curious to hear what you find of these webinars. So my name is Betra Melink. I'm the Content and Communications Manager at SEOshop. So that means that I'm responsible for all the content on our website, also for this webinar, and for white papers and anything that's marketing or content related. I'm not the only one today who's going to speak. I'm going to give the presentation later on to Anand Kansal, and he works at Wingify. And as I said, Wingify is probably the #1 platform in conversion optimization and A/B testing. So he knows everything about A/B testing, and he's going to really dive into the topic a bit more. So really happy to have them on the webinar today. I noticed that there are a couple of people on the webinar that are not familiar with SEOshop. So let me just start off with a really brief introduction on our platform. So we are an e-commerce company based in Amsterdam, and I usually like to say that it's as easy to create an online store with our platform as it is to create a Gmail account. You just have to fill out a few fields and your online store pops up. The only thing you have to do is to obviously add your products and to really market your web shop. We've been doing this for a couple of years. We're the market leader in the Netherlands, and we have over 8,500 customers. Some of them are not really big, but some of them are also quite big. Some companies on our platform are Philips, the Van Gogh Museum, and Dance for Life. And we're becoming more and more famous, especially because our platform is really optimized for international sales. So that means you can set up an online store in 14 different languages and anywhere in Europe. So this is what the back office of your online store look like. This is where you can manage all the orders that are coming in. You can change your design, add any products that you want to market, and basically do all your daily tasks just from this one back office. As I said, you can change your design. We have a lot of over 100 different designs in our back office that you can just install with just a simple click. And these are created by our partner companies. Obviously, also really familiar with conversion optimization. So that means that these teams, these designs, are really focusing on conversion optimization. So very easy to install them. You don't really need any technical skills. It just takes a few clicks. So we're based in Amsterdam, but recently, about a year and a half ago, we opened an office in Germany as well. where we're basically focusing on the German-speaking markets. And as I said, we're growing really fast. So our ambition is to become the market leader in Europe. So hopefully these will be only the first steps to a lot bigger, to a lot of expansions. So that's all about SEOshop. But let's talk about the topic for today, because the topic is conversion optimization. So in brief, what is conversion optimization actually? Well, let's say that you know how to attract visitors to your online store, but they cannot really find the cash register. So then conversion optimization is everything you will do to make this path easier to follow for your customers. And that means that you need to do a lot of testing. So for instance, you need to create 2 different landing pages, where on your regular landing page, your normal landing page, you will have a button that's green, and in your testing landing page, you will have a button that's orange. Well, to test which one will work best, you obviously need to have software. And the number one platform for this, we think, is Visual Website Optimizer. And we are actually using that ourselves as well. I was giving the example of the orange and the green button, because that's actually a test that we have done ourselves. And we noticed that with just that little change, our conversion really went up a lot. And that's really valuable, of course. I mean, I can tell you a lot more about Visual Website Optimizer and how useful the tool is. But I'm going to pass on the microphone to Anand, and he's going to tell you a lot more about his product and about conversion optimization, which is very interesting for you guys, because as of today, SEOshop customers can start using Visual Website Optimizer as well, and it's available in our App Store. So thank you very much for your attention. That means that now we're going to switch to Anand, and hopefully we will see his screen and we can actually hear him. Anand?
Hello, Bertram.
Perfect.
Hello.
Great.
Hello, Bertram. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So, hello, friends. Welcome to today's webinar, how A/B testing can help you sell more with the same marketing budget. My name is Anand Kansal, and I am, as Bertram mentioned, I work at Wingify, which is the parent company of Visual Website Optimizer, VWO, which is probably one of the leaders in terms of which is probably the leader in terms of A/B testing and CRO in the world. I work as the lead nurturing manager in inbound marketing at VWO here. What I primarily do is educate people about A/B testing and conversion rate optimization. People who are just starting to explore why CRO may be a good and valuable addition to their marketing arsenal. So let's just jump straight into the webinar now. We'll be having around a 20-25 minute presentation, post which I will be taking up the questions. If you have anything you want to ask, just drop your questions in the question panel, which you can see in your GoToWebinar window. I will be answering them after the webinar is over. So the first part of my presentation today is what is CRO and why is it important for your business? As marketers, we all know that there are a lot of channels that we use to drive traffic to our websites. There is SEM, search engine marketing, which includes organic search, AdWords, SEO, and others. Of course, social media is another very popular channel, especially for e-commerce stores. Event marketing, which includes online and offline events that businesses participate in to generate eyeballs and reach the top of the mind of the potential customers. There is paid marketing, of course, which includes PPC, retargeting, AdWords, etc. Lastly, there is referral marketing, which brings in traffic through your existing customers by means of word of mouth. It also includes being talked about in online blogs and articles about your industry and so on. So as you can see, these are just some of the acquisition channels that online businesses use to generate more traffic for their online stores. But is generating traffic enough to ensure that you are generating more sales? Yeah, so I'm sorry to burst your bubble here, but traffic just isn't enough anymore. Just give me a second, please. Yeah. So more than 70% of online purchases are abandoned before the payment stage. That's almost 3 out of 4 purchases which are just lost opportunities. And mind you, these are people who have entered the purchase funnel. What about people who abandoned your site at the homepage or the product page? As you can imagine, the number of lost opportunities is much more than the number of completed opportunities, especially in the case of e-commerce stores. Also, as you start exploring more and more channels of acquisition, sometimes it's tempting to roll out a generic marketing campaign or spend a lot of money on social media. Now, these initiatives are often successful to drive more traffic to your online store. That's why they are so popular. But the traffic that these initiatives generate are often found to be very low quality in nature. Thus, your marketing department may see a bump in traffic, but do those extra visitors translate into extra money in your pocket? The answer, more often than not, seems to be no. On the topic of money and sales, there is one more point, very important point, that you may see an increase in sales due to extra traffic, but have you matched that against the money that you have paid to acquire these visitors? Many store owners unfortunately neglect the return on investment or ROI of their leads. As you get traffic through marketing efforts, it becomes very, very important to calculate how much money you have spent on acquiring each lead and how much revenue you have generated out of these leads. One last point, I'll be talking more about this later, but there have been numerous studies which have shown that newer visitors are much harder to convert than your existing visitors. So yeah, that is just these are just some of the points why traffic is just not enough anymore to maintain that edge over your competitors and really grow at a steady pace. So together with traffic, it's time to start looking at conversion rate optimization or CRO. CRO helps you generate more leverage from your existing traffic. It is calculated as number of conversions. So conversion rate is calculated as number of conversions divided by the number of visitors. And conversion rate optimization mainly deals with improving this conversion rate number. Now this conversion could be multiple things depending on what is the activity that you're trying to track. They may be a completed purchase or a visit to a product page, clicking on any specific banner, etc. Generally, we have macro and micro conversions. Macro conversions are the major conversions which actually affect the bottom line. These include completed purchases, sales, and other such metrics. Micro conversions, on the other hand, are those conversions which do not necessarily equate success, but a potential for success. So an example would be adding a product to the cart, clicking on the best deals, clicking on the banners, etc. So the question here arises, why will optimizing my website to generate more conversions instead of optimizing my traffic generation activities benefit my business? Why is CRO so important? Let me give you a very small and basic mathematical example for this. Yeah, people are usually confused when they are explained CRO because they haven't seen the real world application of it. So in this small example, let's just say for your hypothetical online store abc.com, your average order value is $600. For those who don't know what average order value means, it is total sales amount divided by total number of orders, which gives you the average value of each order. So suppose your average order value is $600 and your current traffic is 1,000 visitors per day. Let's also assume that your conversion rate, and for the purpose of this example, let's assume this is the macro conversion, which is the completed purchase, is 5%. Let's assume your conversion rate is 5%. That is, you get 5% of 1,000, 50 customers daily. Your current sales per day would be 50 into $600, that is $30,000. In scenario 1, you increase traffic by 10%. Now your current daily customers become 1,000 into 110%, which is 1.1, into 5%, that is 55 customers. And your current sales per day, assuming that your average order value remains constant, becomes $33,000. In scenario 2, you increase conversion rate from 5% to 6%. Your current daily customers become 1000 into 6%, which is 60, and your current sales per day becomes 36,000. 60 into $600. Just give me 1 second. I'm sorry. I guess there's some problem. Yeah. So in the previous example, you saw that increasing conversion rate by just 1% proved much more effective than a 10% increase in traffic. So conversion rate optimization is much more effective than search engine optimization. This is not to demean the importance of SEO. I'm just trying to make a point that making your current visitors convert more often is much more beneficial from a sales point of view than increasing traffic by 10%. It is much more beneficial to your bottom line, and it will result in a much more stable business. Just give me 1 sec. Yeah. And I haven't even told you the best part yet. So CRO is essentially free. It helps you to leverage your already existing traffic. This means that you're not spending anything to get new visitors to your site. All you're doing is doing a better job of retaining them and converting them to customers once they are there on your website. As you all surely know, paid marketing, especially in the e-commerce store, is getting costlier and more competitive. Online retailers all over the world are noticing their PPC ad spend budgets increasing while conversions within their e-commerce stores are decreasing. That's where conversion rate optimization CRO helps make the most clicks that you get. What I'm trying to say is that if you do CRO properly, you make those clicks actually pay for themselves. In such a situation, it is critical to get that edge over your customers by increasing return on your current investments instead of investing more and more without paying attention to how you're going to generate sales and revenues from your newer investments. Here are some more reasons to get into CRO. As we discussed earlier as well, CRO helps you increase the ROI of your current investments. What this essentially means is that as you convert more of your current visitors into customers, your overall customer acquisition costs start to go down. For example, if you're spending $1,000 to get 1,000 visitors to your website, and your initial conversion rate is 10%, that means you're getting 100 customers, then your customer acquisition cost becomes $1,000 per 100 customers, which is $10 per customer. Now, if you increase your conversion rate by just 1%, that makes your conversion rate go up to 11%, and your customers go to 110. Now your customer acquisition cost becomes 10,000 divided by 110. 1,000 divided by 110, which is so customer acquisition cost really goes down as your CRO efforts improve. It also improves SEO. Now Google loves sending traffic to your online store if you can truly deliver what their searchers are looking for. It is not a good sign if the majority of your visitors are leaving your website without making a purchase, because this is causing them to head back to Google and search again. This scenario can potentially affect your SEO rankings. So CRO has a momentum effect which really improves SEO as well. Now this is my favorite point. As you start getting into CRO, most experts usually suggest doing some sort of conversion research to understand how your customers and your visitors are behaving on your website. I'll be talking more about this later on, but for right now, just consider the fact that CRO makes you look more deeply at your website and how your visitors are behaving on your website. This can help you get some great insights into your visitors and customers, which can benefit your business in multiple ways, not just in CRO. For example, you can find out which steps and elements of your checkout process are acting as bottlenecks just by observing the bounces and the drop-offs at each stage of the checkout process. I talked about this earlier as well. Making existing visitors convert is always much easier than making new visitors convert. Now, this was a study done by Marketing Metrics, and they found out that the probability of converting an existing customer is 60 to 70%, whereas the probability of converting a new prospect is only 5 to 20%. This is another very important reason to optimize your website, since your current visitors are the low-hanging fruit, and you definitely don't want to ignore them. So this is the end of the first part of the presentation. where we talked about what is CRO and why is it important. Now I'll be coming to the CRO process. Generally, most CRO experts suggest the scientific method of doing CRO. Now, the scientific method is actually very interesting. It is divided into 6 stages. The first stage is the purpose stage, or the problem which, herein you define the purpose or the problem which you're trying to solve. For example, for an online store, the purpose could be to increase sales. Next, we come to the research, where you look into your website and how your visitors and customers are behaving on your website. For this stage, there are a whole range of tools that marketers use. They include Google Analytics or GA for things such as which funnel is working the best, which pages have the highest bounces and exits, among others. Next, we have user testing, where you observe your site visitors in real time as they use your website. This is a purely qualitative tool which often gives you very surprising insights into the mindset of your visitors. Now, these insights are something which quantitative measures often miss out. So yeah, user testing is one very important tool that you can use to get more research done. Next, you can put up surveys on your website to really understand what your site visitors are looking for. Also, here heat maps. Now, VW, which is where I work, also gives you heat maps functionality. A heat map of your website of any web page gives you the most clicked areas of your web pages. So suppose you generate a heat map of your home page, you will be able to see which elements of your home page are the most attractive by the number of clicks that are being generated on that particular element. So this can give you some great insights into which are the most important elements which you should be focusing on. Next, we come to the hypothesis stage, where you state a possible solution to the problem you're facing. For example, just giving an example from research, you may identify that many site visitors are dropping off at the 3rd stage of your checkout funnel. You may come to the hypothesis that lesser steps to checkout might result in more completed purchases. Then we come to the experiment stage. Here you can test your hypothesis in multiple ways, such as A/B testing, split URL testing, MBT testing, and of course there is analysis and conclusion, where you take stock of the situation as the expression goes and analyze the results of your test. For the purpose of this webinar, I'll be just taking you through the most basic and the most common kind of testing, which is A/B testing, with the hope that if you find this interesting, you'll be motivated to try out A/B testing and also look into the more complex kind of tests. So A/B testing is comparing 2 versions of a web page to see which one performs better. You can compare 2 web pages by showing the 2 variants to similar visitors at the same time. Let me give you a more detailed example. So on the screen you can see 2 web pages which are named as variation A and variation B. Now, variation A had orange banner at the top right. Now, the owner of this website, Mr. A, just saying Mr. A, they thought that changing this banner to green would be more effective, as it would go better with the overall color scheme of the website. So what he did was he created an A/B test wherein 50% of his website visitors were shown variation A with the orange banner, and 50% of visitors were shown variation B with the green banner. Now, by A/B testing this change, Mr. A was able to find out that the variation A resulted in a 23% conversion rate. Just for example, let's assume that the conversion of this page was going to the next page, that is the features page. So Mr. A found out that 23% of visitors on variation A went to the next page, while only 11% of visitors in variation B went to the next page. So obviously variation A is the better page. Excuse me. Yeah, so it's obvious that variation A is the better page since it is giving a higher conversion rate. So let's just go back to the previous slide and see. So Mr. A identified the purpose, that the purpose of my CRO is to take more people to the features page. He did some research wherein he found out that green CTA button goes better with the overall color scheme of his website, and it would be more eye-catching, and it would result in people clicking on that button more often. Now he came to the hypothesis that changing the button color to green would result in more people going to the next page. Now he did an A/B test in which 50% of visitors were shown the first version and 50% of visitors were shown the second version. Now, in spite of his research, Mr. A found out that the original performed better. That just goes to show that in case of A/B testing, never trust what the experts say. The whole concept of A/B testing is based on the premise that for any change that you want to make, first test in real time to find out if it is giving you the desired benefit. So that is the magic of A/B testing. Yeah. Now I'll come to a couple of case studies just to give you an example where we show you how some e-commerce stores have used A/B testing in the past to increase their conversion rates and revenue. So the first case study is about bringing the price and add to cart button closer. The company is Taylor Gifts. Taylor Gifts is an online store that sells a variety of products in home, garden, personal care and gift giving. It also provides a lot of decorative products for bathroom, kitchen and closet. Just wanted to reiterate here, if you have any questions in mind, just put them in the question box and I'll be taking them at the end of the webinar. So yeah, this is about the company, Taylor Gifts. Now Taylor Gifts use VWO to create an A/B test to improve add to cart click-through. So the hypothesis of the test was that bringing the buying information and the add to cart button closer would improve the performance of the button on the product page. So this was the original version. As you can see that the information, for example, the price, the quantity, the shipping information, item number, the rating given to the product are all very haphazard. They're not arranged very well. So what they did was that they created a new product page wherein they created a box where all information was stored in a very concise manner. So what this did was that it resulted in a 10% increase in add to cart click-throughs. 10% more people clicked on the add to cart button than were clicking on in the previous version. So this was obviously a very small test which resulted in probably, as you can imagine, almost 10% increase in business from this page. And overall conversion rate of test subjects went from 1.53 to 3.23. What this means is that the subjects on which this test was run, their overall conversion rate also increased. Apart from the add to cart button, it went from 1.53% to 3.23%, which is like almost more than double. So yeah, as you can see, this very simple A/B test resulted in a 10% increase in add to cart click-throughs and improved overall conversion by more than double. So what were the learnings from this A/B test? This is my favorite part. I reiterate a lot that the main purpose of creating A/B tests is to get insights about your visitors. So what Taylor Gifts found out from this test is that placing the standard information we all use to make buying decisions in one easy to scan a box like location makes a lot of sense from a sales standpoint. In fact, I would go ahead and suggest them to put more valuable e-commerce information such as time of arrival, return policy, etc. near this box. I think that could result in even more conversions. Now, they also found out that for people looking to make in-depth research-based processes, more detailed information is great. But for the segment of customers who prefer to move quickly through this process, they will find a lot of value in this information which is being condensed into one quick buy box strategy. So yeah, these are the learnings which Taylor Gifts got from this test. Very valuable learning, as you can see, and it would be very beneficial to them in further CRO efforts as well. So this was the first case study. Just give me 1 second. Yeah. The second case study is removing social sharing buttons. Now, e-commerce stores have a lot of fascination for social sharing buttons, and at VWO we have constantly found out many cases in which social sharing buttons actually hinder the business that you are generating from your e-commerce store. Removing social sharing buttons is more often than not a great idea. So I'm just trying to reiterate that through a case study now. About the company, it's Talun.com. It's a Finland-based hardware e-commerce store that sells plumbing, electrical, gardening, other construction material. Now, what they wanted to do was that they wanted to increase clicks on the main call to action of the product pages. Now, the main call to action of any product page is obviously the add to cart button. So, Talun.com wanted to increase the clicks on those add to cart buttons. So, this was the original version, also called the control. As you can see in the red box which has been made here, they had these social sharing buttons, Facebook, Pinterest, Google Plus, below all the product pages. So the only thing they did in this test was remove those social sharing buttons. And what was the result? 11.9% increase in CTA click-throughs, which is like more than just what they expected, and it is a huge benefit for just, and as you can imagine, this would have taken them just a maximum of 10 to 15 minutes to set up using VW, and 10 minutes of work resulted in almost 12% increase in CTA click-throughs. As you can see, this was like a really beneficial test for them. Now, the learnings which Talun.com got from social sharing buttons from this test was that there was negative social proof actually. On most of the shares on the product pages, the number of shares was 0. As you can see in the original, the number of shares in Google Plus was 0, in Facebook it was 0. So this is something called negative social proof. If you have a high number of shares and likes on your product pages, they act as positive reinforcement. But a low number of shares, like in this case, often breeds distrust. So this was one very key learning which Talun.com got from this test. Another very important insight they got was that the product page should have one main goal. Now, these social sharing buttons were distracting from the main goal, and it's usually considered a best practice to have one clear defined goal for each page and push people towards that goal by using a CTA. So yeah, this was another very important insight which Tally.com got. So yeah, these are the two case studies which I wanted to share about VW. VW is probably the world's easiest A/B testing tool. We provide A/B testing and personalization platform for marketers. We just crossed our 4,000 customer mark, and some of our top customers include JustFab, Daffy, Shoe-Dazzle. So a lot of big e-commerce players in the US and Europe use us to really optimize their websites to generate more sales and revenue. Check us out on our website, vw.com. And you can also contact us on Twitter using twitter.com/VW. So yeah, I mean, that's it from my side, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions which you want to ask me in particular, just feel free to contact us on Twitter at the rate of VW. Now, I think Bertrand can guide us to the end of the presentation.
Yes. Can you hear me again?
Hi, Bertrand.
Great, perfect. Actually, before we go to any questions, because I haven't seen any questions, and I really hope that people will add a few questions. So please go ahead and add those. I was wondering.
I got questions on my window, Bertrand.
Sorry.
Hello.
Yeah, Anand. Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, do you hear me?
Hi, yeah, Bertram, I can't see any questions. Would you mind narrating any questions to me if there are any?
Yeah, I will. Just before we go to the questions, I was wondering, is it possible to see a live demo maybe from your product? Because I think it will be very cool for especially SEOshop customers to see, because we now have our app.
Yeah, definitely. So I just take you through a very quick demo of VW. Yeah. So as soon as you log into VW using your login credentials, Yeah. So the first thing, as soon as you log in, this is the dashboard which you see, and you can just go and start creating and start a new campaign. Now here you have A/B test, split URL test, multivariate test, personalization, heat map and click map. I talked about heat map previously, website review, conversion tracking. So yeah, just for the purpose of this webinar, I just give a very quick demonstration of an A/B test. So this is the URL of the page. Here you have to enter the URL of the page that you want to test. For example, I want to test my features. I want to test the VW homepage. So all I have to do is, just give me a second. Yeah. I enter my the URL of the VW homepage, and I click on next. So this is the VW editor which is being loaded. Here you can make changes on the VW editor itself. Just waiting for it to load. Yeah.
It's a big site, of course.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So it's loaded. Yeah, so you can see the VW homepage. Now, suppose I see that I'm not very happy with this headline, just for hypothetical situation. So I just click on this headline, and I see a host of options which I can use to really modify this headline. For example, I can use the edit functionality to change the text. For example, as I just said, we just crossed 4,000 customers. Yeah, I can even make a lot of styling change. I can improve the font size. I think it's still small right now. Yeah, I can make a host of changes, change the format, change the color. So yeah, this is one very important, very commonly used functionality. I can move it to some other area. I can resize it, make it bigger, make it smaller. Change the if I have any complex CSS stylings to change, I click on style, and all these options open up for CSS changes, and I can make any changes here which I want. One very common and popular option which marketers use is the copy option. As marketers, we often copy elements from one page to another. So suppose I want to copy this element to another page, I just click on copy. I go to the navigate option. I go to navigate mode. Navigate mode means that the VW editor has been closed, and I can move around my website like a normal website. I can go to any other page and paste it to that. Paste the same element to the other page. So yeah, going back to the design mode. So this is just one very small change which I made. I changed the headline to more than 4,000 customers worldwide. Now there are a lot of interesting options that we have here. For example, we have a lot of segmentation options that we provide to our users. For example, I want to target this variation with the change headline only to people who are coming in from social media. So I target variation to a segment. And I select social traffic. What this does is that only for people coming in from social media do they see this different homepage with a different headline. For all the other channels through which I'm getting my visitors, they still see the old headline. So what this does is that it helps me target my test to exactly the kind of audience which I want to select. Just for example, if you're not able to get what you want in this list, go to custom. We have a host of options which you can use. You can use current URL, you can use cookie value, visitor type, even things like browser, day of the week, hour of the day. So you can, for example, you can target your test only to people who are coming in from 1 a.m. to 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. So yeah, this is like a host of opportunities, host of segmentation options that we provide. So after I've changed my my homepage, after I've made all the edits that I want, I go to the next option. Herein I track the page visits. So herein I track the goals. For example, we have 7 different kinds of goals. we have track page visits on. So for example, if I want to see on the home page how many people are going to the features page, so all I have to do is click on the features page, click on the URL of the features page and copy it here. So what this does is that it will give me a conversion rate of the original and the variation in terms of how many people click on how many people went on to the features page. So this really this is one kind of conversion goal which I can track. I can track engagement. Engagement means the user is clicking on any clickable element of your website. Tracks form submits too. For example, I want to see in the original versus the variation how many people are filling up this form on the right. So all I have to do is I can do this easily through the track form submits. I can track clicks on any link, clicks on any element. I can even track the revenue. So I can see that for people who were part of the original and people who are part of this changed version, this variation, how much revenue did I get from each set of my visitors. So this is one very important goal for especially for e-commerce stores, because e-commerce stores, their entire activity is based on generating more and more revenue. So I selected tracks page visits on the features page. Then I clicked on next. So this is the campaign name. This is the percentage of traffic that you want to include in the campaign. If you want to include all your traffic in the campaign, go for 100%. Otherwise, if you want to narrow it down to suppose say 5% of your traffic or 10% of your traffic, you can change anything you want. Just give me 1 second. Yeah. VW provides heat maps by default for all campaigns. I talked a little about heat maps in the first half of the webinar, wherein I talked about how heat maps can help you track clicks on each of the across all elements of your website and really give you a great idea on which elements of your website are the most attractive. We have a host of third-party integrations through GA, Universal Analytics, Google Tag Manager, ClickTail. We have a host of like more than, I don't even remember how many integrations we have. And if there is any integration that you want, which we don't currently have, just drop us a mail at marketing@theratewingify.com and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
Oh, great.
So these are a lot of advanced options. So after I've clicked on finish, yeah. So now now we have to install the VW code on the home page on your website. So VW provides synchronous as well as asynchronous code. Synchronous code loads in parallel to your website, whereas an asynchronous I think I interchanged it. Synchronous code loads before your website. And an asynchronous code loads in parallel to your website. So an asynchronous code is generally considered to be faster, and it does not it does not cause any lag in your page load time. Of course, as Bertrand mentioned, you can for SEOshop customers you can directly use VW from SEOshop. It's available on the SEOshop app on the App Store. So yeah, you can bypass many of the steps here if you just select VW from the SEOshop app store. So after putting the VW code on the page, you click on Start Now, and your test has begun. Now it will collect data in real time. I just want to show you a sample report so that you can easily understand what is the how the data will appear on your VW dashboard. So this is a sample report which we provide for all accounts by default. So here you can see performance for each of the different goals that you have been tracking. So as you can see in this visits to pricing page, the control is performing better than the variation. 23.71% of visitors have converted vis-a-vis 21.44%. If you want a more detailed report, go to detailed report and you can see a graphical representation of each of the different goals that you have selected. Heat maps and click maps, we provide heat maps and click maps as I said by default for all the websites. Yeah, so this is just a very basic demo of VW. I hope you got something out of it. If you want any more help, just drop us a mail at marketing@theratewingify.com and we'll get in touch with you as soon as we can and give you a more personalized and detailed demo in respect to what your particular requirements are. So yeah, that's it from my side. Bertram, anything else you want me to do?
Yeah, great. I just wanted to show them where you can install the app. So I'll just take back the screen for 1 second. There we go. So as I was saying, if you're an SEOshop customer, you don't actually need to do the technical implementation. So the app basically takes care of that. You can find this app in our app store, and that's on SEOshop.com. Just click on the section called Store, followed by Apps, and then you will see an overview of all the apps that we actually offer. So that's not just Visual Website Optimizer, but also email platforms, etc., etc. And this is where you see Visual Website Optimizer. You can click on it and just install it, and that will work for you if you are an SEOshop customer.